Alright, welcome back to a brand new video. If you're wondering why I sound like this, I just had a sneeze attack right before I record this video. In the last video, we talked about Emiru's expose video on Mizkif. She mentioned in that video that Mizkif sexually assaulted her by shoving his hand down her pants.
And I was crying like crazy because the emotions were just very high because I was dealing with a lot of major shifts in my life as a result of me attempting to try to distance myself from him. So yeah, we were just talking and I was crying a lot. And when I screamed, he jumped off me like a cat, and instead of apologizing or checking if I was okay, he said, "I feel weird now. I feel like I did something wrong. I have to go." And he immediately left my house while I was still crying.
She also mentioned that he was abusive. He would throw foams and I think bottles at her too.
He would throw bottles, like plastic bottles with liquid in it, not like glass bottles, at me, despite me telling him like I didn't like it and it scared me and I bruised very easily. He would throw his phone at me. I would tell him, it scared me, I don't like it. And one time it even hit me in the eye, which caused me to get a black eye, but he always was like, "Oh, it's an accident," and I was.
Well, Mizkif has responded to all the allegations shortly after she put up her video, which immediately responding to drama is not the best idea. He probably should have just waited, so you have a more thought out response, because it's pretty obvious in this response, he's just going off of emotions.
Goodbye? No, it's not goodbye. Not at all. Explain yourself? I will. There's some people that are saying some pretty crazy things. I haven't even gone on Twitter. I saw other things and I'm like, damn. But I've been around for 10 years now. A lot of you guys know, pretty far away from this stuff at this point, but I am totally okay with exposing a lot of things and saying things. At this point, I think it's pretty obvious I will not be friends with any of these people after this. Ludwig was right. I am going to completely separate myself from these people in this community, which is fine, and I've already been doing it, but I have hundreds of messages and DMs from people, things that people probably would never want to get released that are very interesting for everyone, and I will be releasing it as time goes on, because why not?
Alright, so we're already 40 seconds in and we got a lot to talk about. So he's already threatening to release information on people that supposedly isn't the greatest thing that they want out there, if they either come out with their own story or probably pick Emiru's side. And some of the Twitch streamers who have called him out so far are Asmongold, XQC, Bogwitch, Area, Tectone, and Demi. And these are people who are in the OTK sphere. The only person who was a part of OTK was Asmongold. So if he's true on this word, he's going to call them out. But I think that the reason why a lot of OTK members haven't responded to the allegations yet is probably because Mizkif has information on them and they're scared that's going to get released. Because out of all the current members right now, only one of them has responded to the allegations, and that person was Rich Kimbrell. All the other members are either waiting or just too scared to come out with their stories, or if they don't have any their responses on the Mizkif situation. And even some of the past members have also called him out too, like Bruce Dropomoff and Tectone. And I think Extra Emily has too, but that's about it. And I know OTK has made a response to the whole situation, and it was definitely not for Mizkif. But that's not really them. That's just corporate saying this. And after like a 3-minute story of how the relationship started, we finally talked about the first allegation, which was that Mizkif threw foams and water bottles at Emiru when they got in arguments.
The first year of our relationship, we almost had no fights. We started to date officially in January of 2022, and up until my cancellation, everything was perfect. She brushed over that I threw water bottles or my phone near her, but that wasn't during fights. I want to make that very clear. It would be me throwing my phone on my bed when I brushed my teeth. She did tell me she got a bruise from it, and I stopped. That's all that happened. I will throw you and show you an example, chat. I'm brushing my teeth. Right here. Look at me. I would throw my phone on the bed. I would just lob it over because I was going to bed. So I would just throw the phone. That's it. And when that's the whole thing. I didn't throw it at her. I want to make that very clear. I never threw it at her. I never hit her. And she even said in her situation that she bruises easily. She brushed over that I threw water bottles with her on my phone near her, but that wasn't during our fights. It would be throwing my phone on my bed when I brushed my teeth. She did tell me she got bruises from it, and I stopped.
Okay, so he's claiming that he never intentionally threw any water balls at her. He would throw them on the bed and it would accidentally hit her. It seems like you threw it at her in arguments, I guess because you were angry. But okay, let's just say you didn't do it intentionally. She told you to stop throwing things on the bed because it keeps bouncing back up and hitting her, which causes bruises. Which means it's hurting her and you didn't stop. You kept doing it. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this because I keep accidentally hitting my girlfriend.
Emaru has a lot of rabbits. It was her calling when she first moved in. These were a big part of her life. But as those rabbits moved out of her room and into the living room, they started to see disgusting neglect. No food, no water, sometimes not having clean bedding for weeks. I, along with many others who would come over, would give them what they needed, and I would tell her all the time to take care of them, but to no avail. She completely neglected those rabbits, so much that many of them just died over 1 year of being around in my house. My cleaning ladies would clean them just because they felt terrible, and my brother once came over and said, and I quote, "If you ever marry this woman, I'll never forgive you."
This Adam is
Ever marry this woman, I'll never forgive you. Here is a video up close of Emaru's rabbits. These are small little mites that are inside the rabbit cage, and she didn't care. She completely neglected these animals, and I'm not going to sit around and let people say that she didn't. People who came to my house knew that they were neglected. This is an up-close view of the rabbit cage being completely disgusting and neglected. She left them to die. And I'm not going to sit here and have her pretend she didn't. It's fucking disgusting. This is a video from my own brother. I didn't record this. These are mites all around her cage. I would tell her to take care of them all the time, but to no avail. She completely neglected those rabbits, so much that many died just over a year or two of being around in my house. My cleaning ladies would clean them just because they felt bad, and my brother once came over and said that if I marry her, he'll never forgive me.
So he's pretty much claiming here that Emaru like pretty much neglected these animals and abused them by letting them live in these conditions he just shown. And he might actually be telling the truth here because he showed a cage that clearly has not been taken care of in quite some time. No animal could or should be living in those conditions. Now this completely contradicted what Asmongold had to say about the situation of the rabbits.
Tote bag. It's got the little holes in it here, and a rabbit sitting in there, and she's like hand feeding it. She's hand feeding the rabbit at the same time as doing the podcast. Then after that, we go out to get food. She's sitting there with a rabbit in the chair next to her, hand feeding the rabbit lettuce from the Vietnamese restaurant because it can't fucking move. So the idea that she hates the rabbits or does not care about the rabbits, I have witnessed firsthand, is a lie. It's bullshit.
I also want to add that just because another streamer comes out and says that she takes care of her animals because they've experienced it firsthand doesn't mean it's true. I mean, just think about how many people defended Hassan in the shot caller situation just because they had a positive experience with Kaya. It seems like so far with the evidence I've seen that Emaru probably did neglect those animals and that Mizkif is probably telling the truth about the rabbit situation.
In regards to being controlling, I told her many things. I told her to dress older, to stop wearing pajamas, to stop talking about stalkers and schizos as a whole, stop talking about past relationships, and yes, I didn't want her to travel without me. I also said that I didn't want her to hang out with specific people. This is because I didn't want her to get hurt. I didn't want Emmy to get assaulted. I didn't want some man to do something to her when I'm not there, and I wanted to keep her safe. And I know with how my mental was and who I was back then that I didn't do everything right. I know I could have done better, and I'm sorry. I know I was controlling, and I should have just ended the fucking relationship, but I was so confused as a person. And I'm sorry I did it. I'm sorry things got to this fucking point, man.
So I didn't really talk about Emaru's controlling allegation. It seems like he would tell her what to wear and where she could or could not go, and telling her that she couldn't hang out with certain people. I understand where Mizkif is coming from. He wants to protect her from these stalkers and creeps. But you also have to understand that she's a full-grown adult and she needs to make decisions for herself. So that's probably why she felt controlled. And I think it's okay to suggest these things, but outright telling her not to do it is obviously going to come off as controlling. And I think sometimes you just need to let them learn from themselves, which it doesn't seem like she was. So just end the relationship. I know it's hard for you to do, But sometimes you just gotta grow up and grow a backbone and just end things. Because if you don't, problems are gonna add up. And I feel like you also become very ignorant about what the other person is going through or what they're thinking.
Every month went by the last year, and our fights started to get louder. We were breaking up with each other almost weekly. Fights were getting more aggressive, and shouting began to increase. I was not perfect, and I reflect on those situations poor taste to myself. I'm ashamed that the situations got so bad, but Emmy was also violent. She would throw clothes or plushies at me, and I punched holes in the walls or slammed doors in aggression.
Alright, so I've already seen this clip. Anne-Marie was also aggressive. She threw plushies at me. And obviously people online are making fun of him for it because he threw water bottles and foams at her. Accidentally, of course, in his own words. And the aggressive thing that Anne-Marie did was throw plushies. Which, I'm just gonna say this, I don't think you should be throwing anything at your significant other, even if it's plushies or clothes, because at the end of the day, you're still throwing something at them.
I one time did say I was going to kill myself during an argument, but Emmy did this as well numerous times. She would constantly say she's going to kill herself in arguments, and I have a picture where while I had a gun pointed at one of her stalkers who came to my house while she was in Kansas, she told me she was going to kill herself out of aggression of the situation while it was happening. This is the situation. I told her that a stalker's at the house. I'm freaking out. What is happening? Can you call me? I'll call you. I literally want to kill myself. I can't take this anymore. I feel so alone and like a problem. Just want to show this. She was also using the I want to kill myself a lot in our situation.
So this was a response to Amaru saying that Mizkif wanted to kill himself because she had more viewers than him in a stream.
I check my Discord messages and he's messaging me. He's saying like, Emmy, I'm gonna kill myself. I waited, or I'm gonna KMS. I waited so long for this, etc. Basically, he was upset because I had higher viewership than him.
And he does not talk about this situation, so it probably did happen. But he's pretty much saying that she did the same thing. You know, I don't know their situation. It's another he said, she said moment. But to me, at least this screenshots, it seems like she's saying it out of frustration. Like, she's not using this as a manipulation tactic. It's like saying, I'm gonna kill myself after losing a game. Everybody has done it. With Mizkif's situation, it feels like he's using it more as a manipulation tactic. Like, oh, you're doing better than me. I'm gonna kill myself. Which probably makes her feel not too great about doing better than you.
Then got back together because we thought we can make it work. We went to get food at BJ's, a common place where we would get food. And then we went back to her house. We cuddled for about 30 minutes and started to kiss. She said that she was okay with this on her stream, and I started to advance to the next stage because I thought that's what she wanted. She yelped, and I immediately sprung up and was scared if I did anything wrong, or did wrong in general. I got scared and left the house. I apologize if that made Emmy uncomfortable for me not saying sorry, and I wish I said sorry back then. But we got back together soon afterward.
Okay, so now he finally talks about the big situation, and it kind of contradicts a lot of Amber's points. He first says that they were actually back together, and that they were both on the couch kissing and cuddling. She says that she was crying during this time, but Mizkif never brought up her crying. Let's just say Mizkif's part of the story is true. You thought that the next step from kissing and cuddling was to shove your hands down her pants. Like, it doesn't even seem like you guys were full-blown making out, which would make more sense. I just feel like it's a very dramatic turn to go from lightly kissing and cuddling to shoving your hands down her pants. Like, I've never been with a girl and we're cuddling and lightly kissing. And I just thought, this would be a perfect time to shove my hands down her pants. Because clearly she's not gonna like that. So of course she's gonna be taken away from this. But yeah, that's about it for Mizkif's response. I don't really know who to believe at this point. I think at times Mizkif was definitely in the wrong. And I think at other times Amaru made some mistakes as well that she wasn't telling us. But I don't know. I wasn't in the relationship. So this is like a he said, she said situation. Until Amaru can make her response and maybe clear some things up. Right now, I just feel like it seems like they were both bad for each other. Anyways, that's it. Bye.